Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I got a little story for you. So the other day, I was hanging out in the XMT clan Discord, and some lads in there were playing some games, and this right here is Anti-Kaiju playing his Slaanesh into some Ogre Kingdoms, and basically when he brought this build, all of us in chat were roasting him because, well, I mean, where are the fiends? There's no fiends here. And he's relying on Hellstriders, which everyone knows are terrible, right? We've got some Chaos Warriors who are, I guess, serviceable mid-tier infantry, but mid-tier infantry is honestly not amazing right now, right? We've got some Marauder Spears out here on the flank, and the Bringers of Beguilement are legit amazing if they don't get charged, which, I mean, the Ogre's whole thing is charging, right? So on the opposite side, for the Ogres, we've got some, some Iron Guts, some Iron Fist, Bulls, Stonehorn, and a Noblar Trapper. They're just regular Noblars. More Trappers up front. We've got some Mournfangs with great weapons here, a Tyrant, and yeah, Firebelly for the caster. Just looking to Verminate the light Skaven troops, maybe take out some demons and whatnot. Yeah, no Crushers, but we do have Mournfangs instead, which are definitely not as good or scary, but still decent. In the front line, the armor piercing of the Stonehorn and the Iron Guts definitely going to punish these Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh quite heavily, especially the Noblars kind of fighting on top of them, getting some good volleys into various targets right now, taking out those spears on the flank. Over here, some Trappers do get routed, but Kaiju went a little bit wide with some of his infantry there, and they're a little bit out of position, so it'll take them some time to engage here with the spear support. The Hellstriders are going to get clobbered, but also not do, like, fully terribly, right? This is not, like, a completely hopeless engagement. I mean, definitely not Crushers, but even still, just the Mournfang, great weapons with their anti-large bonus, are able to absolutely pummel these Hellstriders. And yeah, I said it wasn't going to be completely hopeless, but it turns out it actually was. But the Bringers of Beguilement here, they're going to charge in, try and take out some of these Trappers. I guess they were maybe trying to get down at that engagement, with Trappers currently blocking. We've also got these Marauder Horsemen kiting back from the other side. The other infantry kind of decided not to go the long way around, just come back to where they were before pretty much and try and engage those Iron Guts. But yeah, these other Hellstriders as well kind of came up and around the other side now, getting a little bit bogged down on Hellstriders, but Fascination, or rather Pavane, being used here, which is going to do some pretty good damage. The damage scaling efficiency is not at 100% versus Mournfangs, but you got to take them out. Meanwhile, we got Piercing Bolts of Burning here, which, yeah, a little bit of a questionable target. I mean, I get not having anything really to fight back against the Skirmish Cab, feeling like you need to, but I definitely would have put that on the Bringers of Beguilement here. I mean, granted, you couldn't have gotten the best contact, but still, basically, this is the win condition, more or less, for Slaanesh, is keeping the Bringers alive and not getting them charged or taking too much shock or magic damage. Right now, though, Keeper of Secrets Exalted is in combat. He's got his Ballet of Blows, he's got his Rampage as well, that's going to be AoE Rampage, and melee defense debuff on a cooldown, not attached to magic, so can definitely get some really good value. But yeah, the Mournfangs came in and just kind of took a lot of chip damage. The Bringers also got a little rear charge in there, and actually start to get some damage in themselves. Another Pavane being dropped here on the Mournfangs, enraging them and doing some more damage. But looking around the battlefield here, we got a few Slaanesh units starting to come back from rout. We've got some Hellstriders that could potentially come back and especially finish off that very weakened Mournfang 2v1. The Bringers have successfully not been charged, really, and all the Mournfangs pretty much have been dealt enough damage that they're going to be a lot less dangerous. The Terror also kicking in, the Exalted Keeper here, targeting the Firebelly. This is a really smart move by Kaiju to take out the caster, try and snipe his opponent's magic, just get rid of it. Stonehorn's going to try in and body block, come in and try and body block for the Firebelly. See if he's able to get him back from rout. Looks like, yeah, Iron Guts closing and taking out those spears. We'll see. Bringers of Beguilement also charge through. The Iron Guts are kind of exposed right now. They don't have a ton of infantry support, so maybe not. Maybe they're going to turn around and try and take out those Noblars, but yeah, the balance power definitely not looking great for Slaanesh right now. That being said, Keeper of Secrets still pretty healthy. The Trappers are pretty dangerous to him, and they're also pretty dangerous to the Bringers. This is a bad situation right here, having the Bringers. I mean, they're DPSing down the Stonehorn, which is great. They're also taking some damage in the process, but then having the trappers potentially in a concave firing at them, this warrior gets in here at a pretty clutch time to fight these trappers and prevent them from throwing too many more daggers into the bringers. A nice clutch tear route as well. Keep in mind the Exalted Keeper of Secrets is healing. Maybe. Actually, yeah, increases with each nearby enemy unit with, you know, wavering leadership. So it'll tick up a little bit of HP over time. It's not a super impactful self-heal, but certainly something like this, you know, the Stonehorn, not quite wavering yet. But let's see, another Purveyne launch there. And unfortunately, the Mournfangs, well, I say unfortunately, for the Ogres, they actually had their attack order and enraged into the Keeper of Secrets, whereas if they would have got a charge, I don't know, the Keeper was kind of blocking the Bringers right there. They could have maybe got a good charge into the Bringers, but basically all the Bringers are asking for at this point is a Mournfang cavalry to come and rear charge them, pretty much. You can see other Slaanesh units trying to close in and kind of shore things up a little bit there. But the Keeper of Secrets definitely taking some significant damage, like multiple single entities, it's anti-large cavalry all fighting him at the same time. You can see the Ogres kind of just countercharge straight into the Chaos Warriors, trying to take them out. And the Bringers are getting quite low. Ogre Bulls want to charge. Yeah, I think the Ogre player here is targeting a lot of his units to charge into the Keeper of Secrets, but that unit charged exactly where they needed to, just straight into the Bringers themselves. They're just bulls, but still 40 charge bonus and 90 weapon strength. They can get in there and get some good damage done with their charge bonus active. Another side engagement with the Stonehorn moving in. It's going to be close, guys. Definitely some single entity RNG at this point. Stonehorn kind of gets distracted over there, and all of a sudden the Ogres start to have major leadership issues. A lot of their units are not wanting to stand and fight. Even the Tyrant getting terrified away at this point. Vayne and Seductive Glory both used here to keep in all these units rampage. The one single target, then the AoE to follow up. Get a nice uptime of, you know, control and able to take out the Tyrant in the meantime and basically not fight 2v1, more or less, right? The Bringers have also lasted until this moment. They're now going to give up the Demonic Ghost, so to speak. Maybe. I mean, their leadership's not completely broken, but an insane amount of value, insane amount of damage dealt. Absolutely carried here, big time. But hold on, it's definitely not done yet. Even though Slaanesh has fought back in terms of the balance of power, there's still these disgusting, stinky little Noblars and their silly little throwing daggers. And they're going to be extremely dangerous in this late game here. We're just going to keep it in cinematic cam so you guys can appreciate the raw, damaging power of the devastating throwing daggers here. The three Bringers of Beguilement get mown down. Skirmish Cav gets absolutely mown down. Of course, a lot of those models have taken HP damage, so it looks very impressive. But, yeah, I mean, they do have enough ammunition that they can land volleys on enough units here. Meanwhile, the Keeper of Secrets actually chased down and fully killed the Tyrant to give a maximum leadership penalty. Now is also a time to consider, once again, that the Keeper of Secrets does have a missile block chance. It's only 20%, but most monsters do not. So the fact that it does is super important. The Vayne is used here to rampage the one Trapper as this Keeper of Secrets gets into melee. Unfortunately for the Keeper, also gets hit by the Noblar traps, which means its speed is significantly reduced as it tries to charge into the second unit of Trappers. Takes a couple of volleys there. HP is getting very low, down to about 1,000, but it actually is getting some regeneration. You see that Feasting on Fear rocking up as those Trappers kind of route through the area of effect. This other Trapper here actually surprisingly doing good on leadership, but yeah, that little bit of clutch healing from the Exalted Keeper of Secrets. Able to just barely hang on here, and as you would expect, eventually the Trapper's leadership is just going to tear out, and that's game. I mean, I don't know, Balance Power is really loving the power of those Trappers, I think, in particular. And granted, they are quite dangerous when they're able to use their ranged attacks, but yeah, Kaiju proved us all wrong. Absolutely, which is just super fun, and really, yeah, it was a really fun game to watch live, really fun game to rewatch as the replay. It turned out to be super, super close here. Spy Rat just barely taking the loss. And honestly, don't disagree with a lot of his build elements here. I think execution could have been a tiny bit better in certain places, but ultimately a super close battle at the end of the day definitely could have gone either way. I also do think still maybe, I don't know, Mournfangs do fine enough here, I guess. Maybe you don't need Crushers, but Crushers are so good, and Slaanesh really just has so few tools that can effectively deal with them. That said, here, the win condition units, which is primarily just the Keeper of Secrets and the Bringers of Beguilement, both get insane value. 4,000 damage value on the Keeper of Secrets, 25,000 damage dealt, 100 kills even, 117 for the Bringers. They get 17,000 damage dealt, 2,400 gold value. Just spectacular, honestly, from those two big, powerful demonic units. I say big and powerful. Bringers are not exactly big, but quite powerful and quite expensive. But the rest of the build, you get some okay support value on a few units, but nothing really too crazy, as to be expected. But for Spyrat here, you'll see a little bit more value kind of distributed out to the army. We see Iron Guts perform decently well, kind of chopping through Chaos Warriors. All the Trappers, of course, going to be super cost-effective, shooting into expensive low armor range Slaanesh demons with their ranged attacks even. Mournfang Cavalry average out their value. They pretty much pay for themselves. Stonehorn's also a really solid pick in most matchups. Yeah, I like the Firebelly too, even if he didn't end up getting a ton of raw value here. I do think Spyrat maybe misplaced a couple of the piercing bolts, which, you know, could have been the difference, certainly, if that had been able to connect, especially if you'd been able to connect one on the Bringers, which, you know, it has a fairly long wind-up time. Certainly, Kaiju would have had to make a slip to be caught by that, but just the threat of it, even, you could maybe force the Bringers to move and take an unfavorable engagement. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for me for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.